Welcome back, everyone. World Baseball News for the week of February 6th. What an exciting week in baseball. We are right in the middle of the Caribbean Series. The championship game will be this weekend. The championship in Australia was played over the weekend. A new ABL champion there. That means this will be the final week for winter baseball. There was also a champion crowned in the West Asia Baseball Cup. Normally, the winter championships are followed by a February of almost no news at all. But this year is different, and this week is the announcement of the final WBC rosters for all 20 teams. That will be out this Thursday, February 9th. Unfortunately, as we enter the final days before the rosters come out, the list of decommits is growing. Luis Severino is out. He was on the 50-man preliminary roster for the Dominican Republic, but apparently Yankees GM Brian Cashman didn't want him to play. Another loss for the Dominicans. Brewers pitcher Freddie Peralta will not play due to the shoulder injury he had last year. And the Mariners have confirmed that Luis Castillo will not be pitching for the Dominican team either. DR was looking like they'd have the best pitching staff at the Classic, but now it's not clear who their pitchers will be. Pirates first baseman Ji-Man Choi had to withdraw from Team Korea's roster. We knew this was a strong possibility. He had elbow surgery during the offseason, and his recovery time was to end just before the start of the Classic. A little too risky, so the Pirates submitted a medical objection. In his place, Korea has added to their roster SSG Landers outfielder Ji-Hoon Choi, almost the same name. The 25-year-old left-handed hitter played in all 144 KBO games last year, slashing .304, .362, .427, with 10 home runs, 32 doubles, 4 triples, and 31 steals, in only his third KBO season. Team Taiwan lost a pitcher. Yi Chang has decommitted due to shoulder inflammation. He was to be one of their best arms out of the bullpen. Venezuela may have lost Acuna, but another outfielder has been added to the preliminary roster. 35-year-old left-handed hitter David Peralta. He hit 12 home runs in 134 games last year. Line was .251, .316, .415. 22-year-old outfielder Sal Frelick will be participating for Team Italy. He is the number 30 prospect by MLB Pipeline and number 2 in the Brewers system. Last year he played in 46 games at AAA Nashville, slashing .365, .435, .508. 31-year-old outfielder Trace Thompson will play for Great Britain. In 2022, he hit 13 home runs in 74 games for the Dodgers, with a line of .268, .364, .537. 30-year-old catcher Martin Cervenka has confirmed he will be there for the Czech team. So far, the greatest Czech hitter ever. He played in AAA a couple years ago and was a big part of the Czech run through the WBC qualifiers. Speaking of Czech baseball, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a 30-minute documentary about the team called Small Country, Big Dreams. It can be seen on the MLB YouTube channel or the Baseball Czech YouTube channel. I highly recommend you check it out. No pun intended. There was one more final series last week to qualify for the Caribbean Series, and that was happening in the Caribbean Series host country, Venezuela. Going into last week, Leones del Caracas had a 3-2 series lead over Tiburones de La Guaira. And on Monday, they put the series away for good. A walk-off homer in the 11th from Henry Castro gave Leones a 7-6 win and their league record 21st LVBP title, and became the last team to earn a spot in the Caribbean Series. Tiburones were looking for their first title since 1986. Their drought continues. The 65th Caribbean Series got underway last Thursday with 8 teams for the first time ever. 4 games have been played by each team. Only 3 remain in the 8-team round robin. That will go from today till Wednesday. Top 4 will meet in the semifinals on Thursday. Championship game on Friday. Here is what's happened so far. The action began with an historic meeting between Cuba and Curaçao. Cuba was playing for the first time since 2019, and Curaçao for the first time ever. A pitcher's game most of the way. Cody Mincy threw 7 shutout innings for Curaçao. Cuba got 7 innings and only 1 allowed from Cesar Garcia. It went to extra innings, and in the 10th, Guillermo Aviles batted in the go-ahead run for Cuba. They won this one 3-1. Mexico and Dominican Republic. DR owned the first 2/3 of the game, leading 4-1 after 6. But Mexico got a solo homer in the 7th and 3 doubles in the 8th for a 5-4 come-from-behind win. Colombia began their title defense with a 7-1 win over Puerto Rico. Jordan Diaz went 2 out of 4 with a 3-run homer to lead the way. And the night ended with the home team Venezuela taking on Panama. They fell behind early but came back to win it thanks in large part to the hitting of Ali Castillo. He was 3 out of 3 with 2 walks and 2 batted in. Day 2, Friday, Panama took down Colombia 6-5. They grabbed the lead with 3 runs in the 3rd and always managed to stay ahead. Ariel Sandoval was 2 out of 3 with a walk and a home run. Puerto Rico put up 3 runs in the first 2 innings and never let up, beating the host team 6-1. Venezuela only had 4 hits against the 5 pitchers of Puerto Rico. Danny Ortiz batted in the first 2 runs of the game in the first inning and had 3 hits for the day. Curaçao got past Mexico 2-1. Leadoff hitter Roger Bernardina had 3 hits, 1 run, and 1 batted in. Nestor Molina threw 5 2/3 with only 1 allowed. The bullpen followed with 3 1/3 scoreless. Dominican Republic scored 3 runs in the third, and that was all they need, 3-1 over Cuba. Robinson Cano was 2 out of 4 with 1 batted in. The second day ended with all 8 teams having 1 win and 1 loss. Day 3 Saturday, Curaçao and Panama. A bases-loaded hit-by-pitch scored the only run of the game. Curaçao improved to 2-1 with a 1-0 shutout. Curaçao got 3 2/3 scoreless from starting pitcher Jair Jurgens. Then 3 1/3 scoreless, hitless innings from Tamesh Lawrence. Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. The Dominican team came out swinging, 4 runs in the first inning. Puerto Rico rallied to make a game of it, but they came up short. Dominican Republic won 6-4. Emilio Bonifacio had 3 hits, including a home run late in the game. Colombia and Mexico, a seesaw game that had Colombia ahead 6-3 in the 8th when Mexico scored 3 runs on back-to-back infield singles. Then they walked it off in the 9th on a bases-loaded hit-by-pitch, a popular scoring method on Saturday. Mexico won 7-6. Third baseman Rodolfo Amador batted in 3 runs on 2 hits in the game. Final game on Saturday was a massacre. Venezuela scored 7 in the first inning and never let up. They annihilated the Cuban team 20-3. Outfielder Jose Rondon led an impressive group of Venezuelan hitters, going 4 out of 5 with a home run, 6 batted in, and 3 times across the plate. Day 4, Sunday, the middle of the first round. Colombia trailed Curaçao 4-2 in the 9th, but got a 2 RBI single from Jordan Diaz to send it to extra innings. It went till the 13th when Colombia scored 2 to take the lead. They went on to win 6-5. Shortstop Fabian Pertuz reached base 4 times and drove in 2, including a solo home run in the 13th. Cuba was looking to redeem themselves after getting slaughtered the day before. They looked better, down 3-0 after 1. They scored 5 in the second to take the lead, but Mexico came right back with 3 runs in the third. And that would be all the scoring for the day. Mexico won 6-5. Jason Atondo hit a single, a double, stole a base, and batted in 2. Puerto Rico took an early 2-0 lead, but Panama came back to win it. DH Ivan Herrera hit the go-ahead single in the 8th. He had 3 hits, a walk, and a stolen base for the day. Dominican Republic and Venezuela. Starting pitchers dominated. Cesar Valdez threw 6 scoreless with only 3 hits for DR. Eric Leal tossed 6 shutout innings with only 4 hits for Venezuela. No score through 9 innings. Both teams scored 1 in the 10th and 1 in the 11th. In the 12th, Jose Rondon hit an RBI single to walk it off for Venezuela. 3-2 the final. That was his second hit and second RBI for the day. So, 4 days down, 3 to go. Here's what the standings look like. The home team is looking good, tied with Mexico for the top spot. Both teams 3-1 and probably 1 win away from earning a spot in the semifinals. Curaçao, Colombia, Dominican Republic, and Panama are all 2-2. Cuba and Puerto Rico are 1-3. Those 2 may need to win all their remaining games to get in. But every team is still alive, and who knows, we could have some crazy 4-way tie at the end. We'll see what happens. Today, that's Monday, February 6th, we'll see Cuba versus Colombia, Panama versus Dominican Republic, Curaçao versus Puerto Rico, and Mexico versus Venezuela. Tuesday, Cuba versus Puerto Rico, Panama versus Mexico, Colombia versus Dominican, and Venezuela versus Curaçao. Wednesday, final day of the round robin, Panama and Cuba, Curaçao and Dominican, Puerto Rico and Mexico, and Colombia and Venezuela. Top 4 from that round move on to the semifinals on Thursday, 2 versus 3 in the afternoon, 1 versus 4 in the evening. Friday, final day of the tournament, 3rd place match in the afternoon, championship game in the evening. Clear on the other side of the world, another championship was being played. The Perth Heat and the Adelaide Giants were meeting in the best-of-3 ABL Championship Series in Australia. That started on Friday. Perth, playing at home, grabbed an early 2-0 lead in the first, made it 6-0 after 4, and Adelaide was unable to make a game of it. Leadoff man Tim Kennelly hit 2 singles and a double, drove in 2, and scored 2. Perth took Game 1 9-5. Game 2 Saturday, they moved over to Adelaide for this one, and once again it was the home team jumping on the board quickly. Jordan McArdle hit a 3-run homer in the first to give Adelaide a 3-0 lead. It was 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th when Adelaide got 4 solo home runs in 1 inning, including another one from McArdle to give him 2 homers and 4 RBI for the day. Adelaide rolled 9-2 to tie the series at 1 and send it to Game 3. Game 3 Sunday, Perth struck first with 2 runs in the top of the second. Adelaide countered in the bottom of the second on a 2-run homer from, again, Jordan McArdle. Adelaide took a 3-2 lead in the 4th on an RBI double from Jared Carr. In the 8th, Adelaide got a couple insurance runs to make it 5-2. Todd Van Steensel closed it out in the 9th. and Adelaide took the series 2-1 for their first ABL title. After 4 runner-up finishes, they finally found a way to win the championship series. A great ending to a great season for the Giants, who won the Southwest Division title with the second-best record in the ABL. MVP for the ABLCS was Jordan McArdle. In the 3-game series, he was 5 out of 11 with 2 walks, 3 home runs, 8 RBI, and 4 runs scored. And in yet another part of the world, Pakistan was hosting the 15th West Asia Baseball Cup, and the home team took home the gold. Pakistan, the highest-ranked country in the region, beat Palestine in the championship game 11-3. Sri Lanka, the defending champion from 2019, beat Bangladesh 3-1 in the third-place match. Pakistan had reached the finals by crushing Sri Lanka in the semifinals 16-1. Palestine had beaten Bangladesh 14-3 in the other semifinal match. Other participants were India, Nepal, and Afghanistan. Pakistan, of course, has represented the region in the last 3 WBC qualifiers and had their best showing last fall in Panama, so no one was surprised to see them win it. Palestine was a big surprise, though. They did use a lot of Palestinian players from the U.S., but they were able to watch the game in Palestine, many watching the game there for the first time. A little news from the CPBL, where opening day is still 7 weeks away. The CTBC brothers will be without first baseman Chi Hung Shu for the first half of the season. He's having foot surgery to remove bone spurs and to repair a torn Achilles tendon. He'll be missed, too. Last year he slashed .287, .399, .407, with 11 steals in 105 games. And a new signing for the Uni Lions, 28-year-old right-hander Mario Sanchez. He pitched at AAA St. Paul last summer, where he made 13 starts and 15 relief appearances, totaling 91 innings, ERA 4.24, WHIP 11.39. This winter he was pitching in Venezuela, 11 starts, 56 innings, ERA 2.38, WHIP 900. And that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.